Greetings, I'm Sami Laakso from Snowdale Design and I welcome you to the final stream of Lands of Galzyr Gamefound campaign. So this is basically a celebration of the last hour or so, as you can see from below. Welcome to the stream, Sir Tekos. And yes, that message is not affiliated with Snowdale Design. As you can see, I have some new chat overlays as well, so people who are looking from different devices and so forth can also see the chat. Let's turn the music a bit down, something like that. So there's no exact plan for this stream on what's going to happen here, but one fun thing that I thought that might be interesting is to share some of the old prototypes that I have for Lands of Galzyr. So I have a full table behind me full of all different prototypes from different stages of development, so I could share some of those on the stream. And also, if you have any questions about anything regarding Lands of Galzyr, the game page, Gamefound, storybook, whatever, feel free to ask and I'll try to answer them. Welcome to the stream, Mira, Bartek and Jennifer. Mira saying party time. Yeah, and Bartek saying seems that every campaign in Galzyr ends with throwing a party money allows. Yeah, basically. And if you have watched many of those gameplay videos, you have, well, seen the party there, but you may also think that it's kind of boring to always end the same way. But no worries, we hit those stretch goals about seasonal variety in different scenes. So we are going to add some of that in the final scene, for example, because that's we're first trying to prioritize scenes that players will see from time again and again multiple times, and the final scene is absolutely one of those. So we are going to add variety to the scene based on which month you're playing, maybe even which day you're playing. So there are going to be different things happening in the final scene. Jennifer's saying cool idea, time for celebration. I believe it's referring to this stream here. Surteka's saying we had the best party, spending all of our gold in the live stream, leaving almost nothing for the next guest. That kind of like turned into a thing. Like when I told the next guest that they started pretty much with nothing because the previous one spent everything. They usually also spend like everything for the next guest. So you kind of it was kind of tradition that was going on in the demo. So no one like had any money when they begin their new game. Yep. So I think I might start showing some of the early prototypes, just to have some interesting for you to see instead of just looking at my face for an entire hour. So going to swap to that view over here, and well, I have so much stuff here that I'm not even sure where I should start. Like, here's the crappy box of the very first prototype box when the game didn't have a proper name, but it was rather just titled Project Memory, because it was from the fact that the game itself remembers stuff from game to game. So the game itself has a memory, so to speak. So that's where the original project name came from. Mira saying, isn't gold meant to be spent? You can always get more. and Certecos agrees with that. So this is like a home board box, homemade, with just some printing decals on the sides. This is in quite nice condition because it didn't take long for me to do another box. Most of my prototype boxes are really banged up because I used them so long, but this one didn't get too much damage to it before I changed up the next box. But here's the first prototype box that I just showed the cover. Some cards. This is the first game board, which is really thin, like brown cardboard, which I used some tape of sorts to put together, and because I wanted to save on like my both printing and also the sticky paper that I print some of this stuff out. All of these locations are just single places printed. There's also a date here, 11th of November 2018, like version 0.1. One reason for these being on a separate pieces is also before I stuck them on, I like moved them around to figure out what would be the most interesting topology for the board, and as I figured out, the board has been almost identical from this version to the final one. There are some name changes, like this is now of course Sarvar, but in this version it was named Rienstum, and vice versa. Current Rienstum was named Sarevar over here. Then we have this changed. We changed to Teshun. It was because I wanted all the locations to start with different starting letter, so Refrain could get mistaken for Rienstum more easily than Teshun. Also, this is called Rienstum Outskirts, but we updated it to a whole new city named Jabar. Welcome to stream Osmodo. Congratulations on the successful campaign. So happy we were able to hit 200,000, and now I'm looking forward to next year to finally get my hands on the game. Yep, 200k was like the top level dream that maybe we could hit, but it was like a pipe dream of sorts, and well, here we are. You can see also the countdown over here, the backer count, how much time we have, and the funds collected. Welcome to the stream, Seppo, our co-designer, as you probably know at this point. Say, quoting me that the board is almost identical to the final one. True. So Teko saying do the names of here I'm going messed up with the by the names. So it's yeah, I also can't wait to be able to play the game again next year. It's amazing how successful the campaign was. Welcome to the stream, Kyle Red. Saying, do the names of locations have meaning or relation to the features that are just made up imagined name? And Certecos is finding it interesting to see all these prototypes. To answer Kyle's question, we decided on which region this Galzyr would take place. It's like roughly around our the Black Sea of our world, like the Caucasus region, however you pronounce that, and we try to always take inspiration from the names of those locations themselves and the languages spoke there. So these are inspired by that region, and Rienstum has also been mentioned in Dale of Merchants 2 flavor text in the Polka cards. You can, everyone who owns that game can go through, see which card has the mention of Rienstum, which is obviously here in the final game. Welcome to the stream, Andreas Gable. Thank you so much for taking the time for the various demo sessions you held throughout the campaign on the Discord. I was sold on the game before, but the session with you encouraged me even more. Nice to hear, and I will try to hold some demo sessions even now after, once the campaign is over, but I will try to dedicate more time into actual development on finishing up the game so you can actually play it at some point. But I will schedule some gameplay demos even now after once the campaign is over. What else do we have here on the bottom here? We can see Hesembi is the same, Meratu is the same. It says Town of Argni here behind the chat, so but that's the same. And the calendar was just one line of days. But it was I added 2 extra lines there because it was getting confused when the token day is here and the token is here, which means next day is Thursday, and the tokens were like double-sided, so it could have +7 days on them. So it kind of was like 2 weeks, but it was more confusing than not. So decided to add few rows to the calendar. Also makes it look more like a calendar, in my opinion, when it has multiple rows. Let's see what else do I have here in this box. That's the game board. How should I stack these? Can you guess what this is? I'll leave it here for a moment so you can take your guesses what that is. Here we have some cards. Like companions, items. I just usually stole icons from my earlier games like Dale of Merchants and just change them up as I go, but for prototyping it's nice to have some icons to begin with. Some quest cards, like here you can see this was always supposed to be just a fake fun placeholder card. This is the public side on the notice board. Meron is the quest giver, and you can pick this quest from Rienstum, and the store is just such a small task of stopping war between 2 nations. And here's the abandon effect one. Originally it was on the public side, but I decided to change it up and move the abandon at the bottom of the other side, of the private side, because you don't need to know the abandon effect prior drawing it. Mira is saying, let's be honest, you just tried to make the names as hard as possible to pronounce. That might be true for Rienstum, but the other ones are way simpler. Didn't want to make them as hard as Rienstum. Bartek's guess is library for cards. No, that's not it. Jennifer is saying the storybook. That's absolutely correct. Bartek's second guess was a journal to save the cards in, just an analog version of the adventure book that is now the web page. Your prototype tablet. Yep, so this was the original storybook. And as you can see, I never get to print anything out. It was supposed to have different sections, so if you are resolving a quest scene, then you can like find them here really fast. Then if you're resolving an event scene, they are here. Maybe different dividers for locations and companions and so forth. But I never got to print anything out. I did a lot of like testing on computer and laying out stuff, but we quite soon realized that it was not a good idea to have a storybook. This was like this I'm not sure what this is called in English, but this you can really easily add pages and remove them. Well, first for prototyping it would have been really easy to add and move pages, but also I was hoping to do something similar for the actual storybook, because then we could update certain pages with expansions and add more pages instead of having multiple books. But none of that really matters anymore because we went with the digital storybook. Andres asking at what point of development did we start the implementation of the digital storybook? So as you could see with this, we didn't go far with this physical book, but rather quickly figure out that the digital storybook was the way to go. But in the very original idea of the game was like the project memory, when we had that name, we didn't even know if the game was going to have a storybook. So once we did think that it's going to have a storybook, which was quite early, we didn't even question it. Of course we're going to do a physical book because that's awesome to have and pass around. But once we figure out how much story we are going to have and all the different problems that physical storybooks had, we started thinking about different other different ways to implement the storybook. So here are some of the cards, like these are the quest cards, and then on the other side it has the story text, like when you meet the person needing help, the name of the quest, some effect text, like for example we also had like fetch keyword at some point, which meant that take the card 105 from the library. But once we started getting different places like library, global status slot and so forth, it was becoming confusing to either have a different keyword for them or then have a keyword for taking from the library but not a keyword for the vault. So we decided to just go with words. Also tried icons, like a card and then an arrow and then like a library, an arrow away from the library, or like a bookcase icon. But it also was hard to read like out loud. If you want to read the instruction for someone else, like take a card from the library, it's harder to well, you have to remember what the icons were. So we tried a lot of stuff, but then figure out what stuff needed keywords and what we didn't want keywords. It always takes a little bit more space on the cards when we don't have keywords for stuff, but it's a balance that needs to be found. Welcome to the stream and have a nice day for you too, Tomsa. Bill Boyd is saying, how long is the Pledge Manager going to be opened? First, I'm not sure when I'm going to open it, as Gamefound is like a new platform for me, and as a crowdfunding page, it's also quite new. So I don't quite know when I'm going to be able to open it. Hopefully this year, and then I try to keep it open as long as possible, like at least a few months. But once we have to decide on how much we allocate for different regions from the factory, I start to have to lock down the Pledge Manager so people can't change the country of residence and things of that nature, but it's still a few months away. So those were quest cards. These are events, event cards, I think. No, they are not. These are like local statuses, I think. Well, these are a little bit of everything. These are some sort of such status cards. It seems like we didn't have different card type for local statuses, which are these here, and global statuses, where these are month cards. Quite simply, like this is January 81 replaced with 82, and it was the save icon was floppy disk, but quite obvious I didn't want to use a floppy disk in the final game to to indicate saving, because there's well, you're doing it physically, so it's weird to have a digital icon for that. Also, for some reason, I didn't first think about that January should absolutely be the card number 1 and February card number 2, but I did figure it out at one point. So these are, and you can even see it has a sticker here that the numbers were even different at some point, and then I changed, and then I changed them again. So those are month cards. Yeah, Bartek is saying that kids don't know what floppy disk is anyway. Sure, but they might still know that it's a save icon. Like they don't know why, but they probably know what it represents. Then this is an example of a local status card. Like this, once at one point we thought about incorporating weather into the game. For example, here you can see that this number here, 104, would replace all event cards outside of settlements within 3 spaces. So when this card is placed at a certain location, there's like a heavy rain around that location. But after a while, we decided that weather shouldn't be playing as much of a role in our game as it does in some other games. For example, in 7th Continent, weather and like surviving is the core theme, but we didn't want that for Lands of Galzyr, so there's no weather local statuses. Or are they? I don't know, but at least it doesn't play as big of a role as it did in this, when there was like lightning storm and thick fog and some timed effect to get rid of it and stuff like that. Let's see. Some companions. Karimia and Usoma. These are from later match collection. I just used their line art and not the full art. Save on ink and well looks better on prototype and everything else is nothing else is either. Also not finished. Also old icon for the storybook, like some scroll. But then I changed it to an actual book. And yeah, quite simple stuff. Different Usoma for some reason. Also the card number is in these versions, it's on the lower right, but I moved it over here at some point. Items, emergency supplies. Some of these can also be seen that like a bread. We actually don't anymore. And like famished status, you can't get famished in the game. We did it just also decided that like survival shouldn't be a large part of our game. It's more in the civilized world, so to speak. So there's no surviving itself isn't that important anymore. Also the gold cost was here at the bottom instead of here on the top left. I moved all of these up here on top of the illustration because the illustration can still have a lot of room, and then we have more room here at the bottom for the different effects. A rope, light tunic, sling, bottle, Swiss, local map, lockpicks. Many of these are in the game, but pretty much all the effects have been reworked. Like in these ones, we didn't still have the verbs. We did have skills, as you can see here, but we didn't have the verbs to go with those skills. So items were like per skill and not per verb. But we wanted to make them more thematic, so we came up with the verb system. We have some. I don't even myself remember quite what we have here, so it's an exploration for all of us. Event cards, quite similar to the current ones. Has like the arrows pointing downwards, and resolve one of them depending on your what matches your condition. Really similar. This is an older event card. Relationship to Raccoon Bandits, one or more. At some point we had some sort of relationship mechanism in the game. Like you could have relationships going up and down with some different parties, but it really easily becomes a mess and a fiddly thing to upkeep. We got rid of that. But other than that, similar thing here, like a specific effect or condition at the top, like here as well, and then the low terrain types. So really similar in that way. Stealing 2 or more. I had an idea for that, but we didn't want actually to trigger stuff based on what skills you had. But a lot of ideas, some empty cards that I could write my with pencil. And these are adventure statuses, like an EG like graph, but that also doesn't make too much sense because electricity in by a large margin hasn't been invented yet in times of Lands of Galzyr, so it doesn't make sense to have an icon from that, but they're all placeholders anyway. Lost status, quite similar to what we actually have. And yeah, it did ask you to place your figure on this card, but then it says that you can't move. Well, obviously you can't move when you are on this card, so that text doesn't exist anymore. Imprisoned, wounded, vigorous, energetic. Some more local status, weather stuff. Storm, lightning, storm, heavy rain. I think these are like older versions compared to the ones we looked earlier. Next. Here's version 1 of the skill marks. These are like 3D printed 3D print pieces. They're actually quite similar to the final ones. So these are the ones from the factory, and these are an early version. The biggest difference is the shape is a little bit different. This is the new one is easier to grasp, like from the side, like this, compared to this one, as it doesn't have so much. It doesn't have that overhang, and obviously it's white because it's 3D printed instead of this is actually a molded piece from the factory. Like I've been communicating with the factory for a really long time to get all of these ready, so it doesn't delay the project. Here's a different one. Like this has a slightly different profile, so it's a bit easier already to grab, but it doesn't have the same profile in this direction. I do try to write them down what they are, so I don't forget. This time I actually prepared with some water. Some player pieces. Like when Harman was going to be a playable character, the game was never supposed to have standees, as characters didn't know what they were, but not standees. I'm not a huge fan of standees, basically, mostly because they look so bad from this angle, but they are good for prototyping. Day token, prestige tokens. Just different characters. Most just stolen straight from Delphi's collection, so because I don't want to draw the final art before I know which characters I use, but that's those. Some additional cards, location cards, they are sleeved at the moment. Some month cards, kind of similar to what we already saw. Maybe a little bit, no, yes, this is a little bit new version. because the layout is really close to the final one, and they also have tags already. But no verbs still. Oh, some color versions. Some borrowed art from Armello. Just wanted to see how the layout would look like with colored artwork. And then we have like a bunch of different adventure boards. This is actually printed on a sticky paper, so I could peel it off and put on a cardboard. That's how I make most of my prototypes. Like for example, this one is printed on sticky paper and then put on. You might recognize what it is. Has been put on. It's from Dawn of Peacemakers. A sideboard. I have like spare parts so much that I don't know what to do with them, so I use them for prototyping. This is actually quite close to the final one, but at that point all the adventures had a special ability, like here directly on the game board itself, but we changed that to a single use special ability and tags on the adventure board, because that way we could make them a lot stronger, so you feel more powerful when you use them. If they would be some passive ones like this, they would have to be so small that it doesn't feel as good to use them. A different one, quite similar to the previous one. Here's a tiny. It's cute, but it feels a bit insignificant, like not big enough. But yeah, I tried what it would feel like to have a small one, but this feels a little bit too much like a toy or something. Seppo is saying that is cruel. I'm not sure what of my briefing comments is referring to. Here's another small one, like a full rounded edge here, but then it doesn't have the spots for inventory. Yet another one. This doesn't have this gold spinner. Maybe that wasn't implemented yet. But then I thought that it's a really nice way to save the gold from game to game, instead of having some sort of boxes or something. A weird top, like a vertical one. Not really a fan of this, but it was a fun idea. Welcome to the stream, Ville. I remember when you told about this project years ago at German airport after Spiel, and now the campaign ends. Well done, Sami and the team. Thanks. Yeah, it has been quite a long time in the making. Here's another vertical one with gold at the bottom. Just a different character. Yet another different character. Brainstorm Outskirts for some reason. Boomir's vertical version. Here's quite good looking one. Quite close to the final one. 2 holes punched. Some terrain icon stickers. Location number stickers. More and even more. Here's some old dividers. Quite simple. Limbo. That's like the vault, but it didn't have the name vault yet. Limbo was never supposed to be the final name, but didn't know what to call it. Here's an funky idea. Bartek's asking, do I always prototype in English or do games start in Finnish? For the most part, I do them in English because that forces me to think about game terms and what should I call different components and skills and mechanics. Because I'm always still going to release the game in English, so it's just a natural way for me to get the ball rolling on the terminology as soon as possible. So this was a short-lived idea. It was actually never like tried out, but I had an idea, so I had to test, like at least print it out to have a discussion about it. So you would start the game focused, and then you could always add a single success to your skill check by flipping this over. So you always have a single success that you can like cash in if you want. But after you flip it over during the next skill check, you have to use this and roll 2 dice less, so usually 5, so now only 3, and then you can flip it back over. So it was like an idea to make people have some sort of push or like, I don't want to fail this really important thing, but I don't care how much it will hurt in the next skill check. So there's a sort of way to exhaust yourself. You can use this as a house rule if you want to. But it didn't make to the final game. Sir Tekos is saying that the token is quite cool idea. Maybe it finds its way into the game in some shape or form sometimes. This is an example where you can see that there's usually quite a lot of going on in board games outside of what you see when you get the finalized product. Like there's quite a lot of stuff going on and changing. But then for me it's like finding the best possible streamlined game that people will enjoy with as few excessive moving parts as possible. This is one of the prototype boards this is actually one that I used for the longest time. Really it's mounted on Dawn of Peacemaker's game board, and it has correct names for places. This is one that I actually showed to different publishers a few years ago in Essen. Doesn't quite fit fully on the camera, of course, unless I show it here. Like, here's the bottom half. This is really similar to the current one, just not polished. So here's the bottom, and here's the top of this game board. And you can even see in some of the old demos, as Bartek is saying, they remember this from early demos. Yep, this is the exact board that I used in those before I got the new one that is really close to the final one. And here's yet another one. This is like I have named version 0.2 in 2019 summer. So this is also, I think, mounted on the other side of Dawn of Peacemaker's game board. This is like A4 pieces of paper that are like sticky paper, sticker backing that can be printed on a regular printer, and you can see seams as I have printed multiples of these and then combined them here. Also, my previous cat puked here, so this is a memory of him here in Reinstone. So this is really similar in topology to the final one. Esembi, Meratu, Arhin. this one did change names. I think maybe it was repaint here, and then I added a sticker on top of that. And then some miscellaneous stickers here. Like these are also the icons printed on a sticky paper, and then using a hole punch to get them out of here, and then stick on the game board. Some more terrain icons, an extra calendar for some reason, some gold spinners, no idea why, but some extras, card packs, more stickers, shapes of the adventures. I'll show them so soon. They're also in one of the boxes. More of if I printed this focused and exhausted. I printed like 4 actually, so I had one for each player. I just assembled one before deciding that, well, we're not going to use it. Bartek saying, is the final board also the same size as Dawn of Peacemakers? Yep, they are exactly the same size. And actually I think the box is also exactly the same size as Dawn of Peacemakers. So if you have both, they will fit nicely next to each other. The Delmer's collection is pretty much also the same size. Maybe I think it's a little bit less tall, but otherwise it's the same. And then we have a puzzle where I have to try to fit all of these in. This is supposed to be a square, but I think it's not because it doesn't fit quite in each direction, but be good enough. Just putting most of this here some way of form. I can pick it up later. So this was the first box, and looks like we have 60 minutes left and exactly 2,400 backers. That's like we were struggling to get 2,000 for most part of the time, and now in the last days we have surpassed 2,000 way easily. It is boring. This is some samples from the factory, like the component trays, and well, there are cards. Like this is prototype that I used for the earlier demos for the longest time, and these are all made with a home printer, like a different back and different front, and then a white card in the middle. Many also have like Tale of Merchants cards being because I have excess amount of those available to me. And these are like full of notes and stickers and stuff. Like I've changed some numbers. Like here's also different numbers. Sometimes if it changes just a little, I make a sticker and fix it. But if I make a lot of changes, then I just print the whole card again. Yeah, and here's the save slots at the bottom. But yeah, just like the old versions of cards, but these pretty much look like the final cards with some messy corrections on them. Surtek was saying, yes, the box for Dawn of Peacemakers is a bit deeper than collection one. Yep, but they are about the same width and length, so they can you can put them side by side on your shelf nicely. Thanks for joining, Kyle Brett. Thanks for your well wishes, and have a nice one. Ville is asking, or saying that someone asked about this year's SNSPL. Are you going there? Oh, yep. I read the message but forgot to answer. And I'm not going to have a booth, and I'm not sure if I'm going to even attend or not. I will see. It just sounds like a little bit of a bad idea to even attend because of the status of the world currently. So Tekos is going to be at Spiel, and if I do go there, I will inform everyone in the Discord and have some meeting spots and different times, so I can meet everyone who is there. But I'm still pondering if it's a good idea or not. 12 minutes left before the campaign ends, but this is the largest box. Like this is huge. Has so much stuff in it. So these are mostly from the factory. So these are like not, for the most part, they are not my handcrafted versions. So these are less. I haven't played with many of these. Some I have played with, but they're like samples that I have received from the factory, and then I give feedback, and then I get the new version and so forth. Thanks for joining, Andres. Sadly, I have to leave as well. Gotta prepare dinner. Thank you for the insight in the early development versions of the game. Really interesting stuff. Looking forward to the next development updates. Well, and Bartek's expansion spoilers. You see nothing. This is actually many years old. This is a version, like both the travel guide for the game, but also an advertisement that we handed off at Essen like 2 or 3 years ago, and some of you might even have one of these in your possession. And it actually has like the final one. I have it here. The back has also interesting stuff about like canonical stuff about the game world itself. But in this version of the travel guide, the back was reserved for like telling what the game is actually about, because this was the only thing about the game that we had there in the convention. And I just gave it away for people who were interested in it. So this is telling about the game. And we had plans on launching the Kickstarter in 2020. Well, we didn't do it in 2020, and we didn't do it on Kickstarter, so oh well. And also more has changed colors since then. Yeah, some of you might have one of these. Welcome to the stream, Rex. Need a little while join in, and congrats for a really nice campaign. Looking forward to play. Thanks. Ville saying well, hello, there are new characters in the box. Welcome to the stream, Alex. Why didn't you use the 3 primary colors, red, blue, yellow, and 3 mixed colors, purple, green, and orange? I tried to pick as color-friendly options as possible, as well as trying to pick like, well, let's move those aside for now. We can take a look at them in a moment, I promise. But here we can see the colors for the skills, and I tried to pick, like, adjust the color wheel in a way to make all the colors match thematically as closely to the different skills that I could. Like, I really wanted to use purples as pink for thievery. It just like felt right. I did try like red for might, I think, but it didn't quite gel as well with the other colors. And like purple, dark purple, just dark blue was really good for perception. So it was a matter of like rotating the color wheel in a way that it fits all of these as best as possible. And this is like just the outcome of that, while also trying to make them as colorblind friendly as possible. Bartek saying no worries, Olympics 2020 also happened in 2021. Yeah. And what else do we have? Like which order? Here are some of the earlier versions of the dice tray. These are different sizes to test out, also different heights. Also, this one has box leather backing here, but it wasn't available in such a dark red that we didn't want. We preferred the color over the feel, and even personally, I might even like the felt on both sides more. So we opted out for, let's see. This is the final one, which matches the one that you're going to get if you get the deluxe version or just an add-on that has felt on both sides. Welcome to the stream, Morrikheim. I'm really looking forward to playing the game. So this is a smaller one. Also, when this is assembled, it felt just a little bit claustrophobic. So this the one that we changed the width just a little bit, and also the depth, like here you can see a tiny bit. So this felt like a little bit cramped when you take stuff out, and this felt just right. And if I remember correctly, this one is just a tiny bit larger. Again, just wanted to find the perfect size. Those are the dice trays, and well, then we have bunch of dice. So why not let's take a look at those. So this is the first batch of dice that these are white blank dice that you can order online, and then I have stickers on them. So these I used really long time for testing. These are the first molded versions from the factory Panda. Some color and icon corrections. Some more icon corrections and colors. Some more. So I don't even remember what's the difference with all of these, but yeah, there's difference between colors and tiny adjustments in icons in between the different versions. Here we have timer tokens. These are handmade. I made them some myself with the sticker and punch sheet method. These are the first versions of the adventure meeples, which we jokingly call adventurables, just because it sounds so bad. So these ones are actually made from cardboard. So I cut them roughly like this, huge number of them cut into the rough shape, and then I glued them together, and then I filed with like a wooden file them to the correct size, so they can be used as a. And this is like printed on the front and a sticker. It was quite a work to create this, but I wanted to get a really good idea on how they feel, what's the correct width, do they stand up nicely, and so forth. Bartek thought that is a reference to Animal Pop. Yeah, it's a factory, so Panda Game Manufacturing is the full name. Looks like we have 4 minutes left in the campaign. Maybe we should take a look there. Let's see if I can open it up. Found. Just a few minutes left. here. I have never been on Gamefound like seeing how the what actually happens when the campaign ends. So let's see how it looks. 3 minutes left. Welcome to the stream, Jesus, and those who don't know, he's here. He's the one who's illustrating with me. So the game has 2 illustrators, me and Jesus Delgado. A lot of handmade stuff. Graffiti man. Three minutes left. Let's see if we can if someone will find their way. Still 2,404 backers. 3 minutes left. And then I also have update ready that I'm going to post as soon as the campaign ends. Two minutes 45 seconds. Welcome to the stream, Lion. Beautiful game. Thank you. We have new comments that I haven't replied to. 1, 2. Two minutes. Handy to have the timer here on the stream on the bottom right. Haven't been there on too many campaigns on Kickstarter either, so I can't quite even remember what that looks like when the campaign ends. Jennifer saying awesome campaign, congratulations, thank you, and all the backers, you have been also part of what makes the campaign so awesome. Wouldn't be that without you. Well, we did get one backer with 2 minutes left. I would like stress myself out if I tried to back something and I knew that I had 2 minutes left to type in my credit card information. But someone did make the last, well, it's not actually last minute, but last 2 minute decision. Now we're on the actual last minute. Someone makes it during the very last minute. Oh, now one is gone. Maybe they changed their mind. I'm not sure if this is always working exactly perfectly, or if because I was often seen that it goes one down and one up almost immediately, so I'm not sure if there's some lag or something. Ten seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And I had to make this awesome effect for you all. Yeah, thanks everyone for making the campaign what it was. I'll still will be streaming a little while. I think we all want to see the bottom of this box in front of me, quite literally. But like saying it's final countdown, Mira's having some fun with emojis, same as Jennifer. Yeah, I think I can now hide some of these. Like that one. Bartex were saying thanks Sami and congratulations. It was nice to be part of your campaign again. Likewise, nice to have you being part of the campaign also. It's always really heartwarming to see same faces joining when we have a new campaign. So fun. Mira's writing now starts hard part. Waiting. Will saying 2,400 backers. Congratulations. Thank you. Let's publish the new update. Here we go. Fresh new update. Miha is very excited for the game. Congrats on the funding. So spinner thing late to the party, but still congratulations on the successful campaign and Gorgeous game. Lion saying, well, I'm not trying to pronounce the first shouting, but congratulations on the campaign. Jesus writing congratulations and thanks to all backers that made this possible. And Tonsa saying congrats Sami and the team. I really wasn't sure if we would hit all the stretch goals once I posted them. Like I roughly in the middle of the campaign, I decided now it's a good time to reveal all the remaining stretch goals, and wasn't sure if we can make the 200k one, the new short story, but we did manage to get it, which was a really surprise. And here's also a nice graphic that you people who have backed my campaigns before know that I like to do in the project updates, starting with the very last one, not the last one, but the very last during the live project, or the one when the campaign ends, where I divide up the remaining tasks as we have, and then we'll show you the progress on all of those, so you will get a really nice idea on how much stuff we have left to do and where we are in the campaign. Third saying congrats and Dom Penguin, and tada. Sadly, the Dom Penguin emote doesn't work in YouTube, but I can vision it in my head. Now here you can see that the design and development of the game, like the core engine, is pretty much finished. I didn't put it at 100% because we still might do some small tweaks here and there, but it's mostly done. And then it's the content creation and story writing. We are roughly a little bit a little bit past the midway point, so we are now pumping out the content as fast as we can for the game, like creating and writing scenes and quests and events. Artwork is 80% done roughly. We're really in a good place with that with Jesus, and we're finishing up the final pieces of art that we need. Will is saying, campaign ended, where is my game? You have your game, the prototype. That's more than most of people here. Tutomoitos saying congratulations Sami, we are all really excited with this project and proud to be part of this. Same goes for you. Thank you for being part of the project and making it possible for a wider audience to enjoy Lands of Galzyr once it gets released, both in French and Spanish. Then we have manufacturing preparation, which is like part of what I have just shown you. We have worked over half a year, close to a year I think, with the Panda game manufacturing to get all the kinks ironed out. So once we are ready with all the cards and graphics, we can just start the printers and be on our way on that one. Manufacturing, obviously we haven't started that one yet. Full peanut preparation. I'm in really good spot at that. Also negotiating with different fulfillment partners and making sure everything goes smoothly once the games are ready. And then finally shipping obviously hasn't been started yet. So that was that. And next up, I think we can like go back to the table. Do you want some confetti here? I have it set up in all the different scenes. I can turn it off when it's annoying. So Spingen saying now it's time to reveal the Kenzie, your cat Lucy add-on. Maybe one day, but it's not today. Spinner is also asking, will I do more artwork drawing sessions? Would you be interested in more of those? Because I could do some of those, because it doesn't take like too much. When I do, for example, gameplay videos and streams for you, that's time that I'm could be doing something else, but now I'm not because I'm streaming. But with those artwork streams, I still have to draw them, or Jesus has to draw them, and it doesn't make a big difference for me if I stream those out. Like roughly the same amount of time. Takes me roughly the same amount of time to do. So I might schedule some artwork streams. But let's go and see what else we have here in the box. Here's one of the earlier versions of the adventure journal. The difference between this and the one that's coming if you ordered one. This is the one that we're going to use. It has this texture, but you can see this is a smooth one. So we felt that this would be more appropriate and look better in the game, but pretty much the same outside of that. What else do we have here? D12, interesting. So Spinner would love to have another session because it's amazing to see your artwork come to life. Sure, I think I have to do some. But yeah, there's also old ones that you can find on this very channel. More D12s. Because even with that, like in this earlier version, I personally don't like the dot with 9 and 6. I much more prefer the underline, so that's also something we changed. And the size is also a little bit different. This is a bit bigger than this. I wanted this size. This feels a little bit clunky, so you can see that there's a ton of decisions and things to consider when manufacturing a board game. And this earlier one you can barely see, but it has some gray like swirls inside there, so it's not purely white. We tried if we liked some of those, but we decided that pure white is better, and it works better with the colorful dice, because these don't have any texture in them. We felt like the pure white would work better with the D12. Here's some early versions of adventure meeples. My handmade quest tokens with stickers. Some handmade prestige tokens. Some more adventure figures. Some more adventure figures. Like these are 10 millimeters and these are 11 millimeters thick. So that's also, we wanted to think which size is the best, and we actually went with 10 millimeters. These started to feel a little bit too thick, so the shape didn't quite feel as nice, and these already have no trouble standing expanding, so that's something also need to keep in mind. Some day tokens, some gold, some just pure white, and we went with the gold one, make it a little bit more special. Some skill marks, quite a lot of them. Here's some more, and there's even some more. Some different versions from the factory, like version 1, version 2, version 3 in 2 bags. This is version 4, unpolished. So this is actually a bit interesting, because these are, let's see if I can show it to you. These are the same identical ones that you will be receiving, but you can see just a little bit, for example, some scratches on the surface. If I can catch the light just perfectly, I'm not sure if I can. And also like these mold marks here on the side, which look quite ugly, and here at the back you can see it's like quite ugly here and sharp. So these are the you will get from the same mold that these were made, but because there's a special polishing process, let's see here, they will appear like this when you get them. So here's a comparison. On the left is the one before the polishing, and on the right is one after that. So you can see how nicely smooth it is. It has no mold marks on the side or anything. It's really nice. So that's also something that even I weren't quite familiar with, because miniatures aren't done like this, because obviously you can't just fumble around and make them all smooth, because you will lose all the detail in them. But for these kinds of parts, it's perfect, and makes the pieces really smooth from all sides. But it was somewhat disconcerting to first get these pieces when they have these ugly marks and sharp edges all around them. But after the polishing process, they're like candy. So it's quite a long process to get these pieces done right. Plastic bands, not interesting. My old card dividers. Some different versions of the home block. Something you probably don't even stop to think about. This one is this like hard plastic. Also makes like quite an annoying sound, and like this. This is not ASMR with this. It's like cheap feeling, but this is so perfect, so silent. No sound. This is more expensive than this one, but I want you to have the best game. And as for the size of this, that was a long process to get it exactly right. So in the box, when you have many cards, they don't fall over, but it's also not too thick that it would like ruin the actual card play. Welcome to the stream, Katarin. Congratulations on the ending the campaign on a high note. Awesome to see the 200k stretch goal was passed early. Let's also can turn this up here. And maybe we have had enough confettis for now, so let's turn that away. Some pieces to assemble the adventure boards. Even those had different versions, because the first ones weren't tall enough to properly keep the gold spinner attached. Some card samples, and the final cards will also in your game will come with no plastic wrapping, and they have this really simple paper slip keeping them together, so it's super easy to unbox the cards, and you don't have to worry about them getting damaged during transit, because they will be packed in the middle tray like this. Like there will be full of cards. I think this will be actually be different way as well as this to make more room for the cards. So this will be all full of cards and like protected from all the sides. So there's no way for the cards to get damaged, but they're super easy to unbox. And less wasted plastic. Of course there's plastic like in some of the components like the dice and skill marks, but you're not going to throw those away. So I see that less wasteful than just plastic wrappings that you throw away immediately. My handmade card tray that I used quite a long time. It's held together with glue and tape. Factory sample of card tray. Actually have some contracts here that I probably don't want to show on camera, so let's place those away. Running out of space and dropping stuff on the floor. What do we have here? We have some adventure boards. These are like 3D printed that I had my friend print out, and then I painted them myself. So they were originally white, and some of them show some wear and tear on them from plugging in and out, because well, they're just painted. But they did hold out really nicely for extended period of time. Some white samples of these adventure boards. Some older ones. Some divider samples, but then I upgraded the dividers to not be like rectangular, but rather to have the correct shape, or the improved shape, like this. The improved shape where they are blocking your view less, especially when you are looking like this and the card number is right there, so the divider is not blocking your view of the card number like that. But you can imagine that if it were taller or even this way, you can't quite as easily see the card number there. So that's one of the reasons I decided to shape them like this, so it's easier and faster to go through the library. And those were the adventure boards. Some travel white samples of a rule book. Like this is so extremely interesting looking, isn't it? Just a white sample of the rule book. All of this has already been done. White sample of the of the game board, one sample of the punch boards. So all of this has been already done to speed up the manufacturing process once we get all the parts complete, so we can start the production way faster than we could otherwise if we would just now be starting this process. Bartek saying, so many times publishers share pre-production white samples months after campaign. It's great and very promising to have figured it out already. Yep, that's the reason. I trusted in the game as so much that I started the ball rolling with the factory way early to get all of these ready and polished. And some of the reasons are like these are the main culprits, the skill marks and the adventure board. This was a pain to get right, to get these right, to get them pop in really easily, but then stay there even as you bump the components around and put them into the box and away. They really nicely stay there, but they're still extremely easy to take away. So that single thing, I hope you appreciate it when you get the game, how smooth this is. It's always a large process to get two different materials to work together like that, like cardboard and plastic, because they are made with two totally different manufacturing processes. It's like a chicken and an egg problem. Like, do you start with this and then adjust this, and then if you need to make adjustments, do you make it here or here? And it's like pain, but we have figured it out. So let's. Some people saw this, so why not? Let's show them. Spoilers or not really, but we are planning to have an expansion for Galzyr in the future, but that's far in the future, so don't expect the expansion to come soon. But we have plans, and yeah, we have plans. I'm not going to dwell too much into that here, but you can use your imagination and look at these beauties. The 4 adventures in the base game, their main portraits here are illustrated by me, but these 2 ones that will come in the future expansion are illustrated by Jesus Delgado, who was here in the chat as well. There's many illustrations of these 2 fellows already in the game, in some of the status cards and things of that nature, and some of those are my drawings. But as for the adventure boards, I wanted Jesus to draw 2 for the expansion. So that was your teaser. And now the hard part, as like Miro said already, is the waiting. And let's see. Well, the final box that I have is this is the latest version that I have from the factory. So this is really close to the final game that you will be receiving, except it has more cards and stuff, but more or less the game that you will be receiving. And you've seen this many times in different streams and gameplay videos, so not much to add here. Well, I'm not sure if you have seen this too much in the streams, but this is the side of the box. And now you know who these 2 fellows are over here, as we have the base game adventures here. But didn't want to leave these 2 away, so they made their way to the side of the box. So Spinner is asking how many cards again in total. Base game will have 480 cards, and the sleeve packs will have, if you get these, you get 2 packs of 250 sleeves, total 500. So you will have 20 extra sleeves if you get these. And actually it's not printed on here, but the card size is 57 times 87 millimeters. So Spin is saying, so the sneak peek was already on the box. Yes, it was for those with the keen eye. We have on all different 4 sides, we already have them, because it would felt wrong to have only these 4 after you get the expansion, that these would not be here, so I added all of them. they can also be seen on some of the, especially on the status cards, like base game adventure Geridite, but already here we have one of the Yameise expansion characters in here. These cards, same as here's Noko and Umi is on the adventure status card, for example, so looking for treasure. So I think the stream is closely soon going to end. So if you have any more questions, now would be the perfect time to ask them. Let's turn off. So if you do have any questions, do write them in the chat, and if you get some questions pop up into your mind afterwards, you are more than welcome to ask me in the Discord channel. I think there should be a link in the description if some of you haven't joined there already. So Spinner saying they love the expansion characters and will instantly back for more, and it will be an instant back for most backers, unless you like hate the game when you receive it. But hopefully that doesn't happen. So it was nice sharing like a little bit of peek behind the curtains on the old prototype stuff. But wasn't sure what I was going to do in this in this stream, to be honest. Just wanted to like hang out with you guys for the final hour of the campaign, and just came to me today that it might be a good way to spend the time to share some of the old stuff that I have in my shelves. So Spin is saying, please take some free time and don't rush this, because we will be here waiting patiently. Yeah, we are going to celebrate a little, well, not too much, but like having dinner or something, and maybe a few days of less work. But then we're going to, you can read from the latest project update, we are going to post new updates only roughly once per month, instead of writing them like every few days like during the campaign, because it takes so much time to do those. And while I do love the involvement with the community, it does mean that I didn't get much work done on the actual game during the month of this campaign. So now we are going to continue working on the game and then update all of you once every month or so, to keep you updated on what's going on in regards of Lands of Galzyr. So probably a suitable place to stop and wish you a good continuation of the week and year and all that good stuff. And why not some final confetti to end the stream. Thank you and bye.